Welcome back to another episode of NBA 2K14. In the last episode, as the Golden State Warriors defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder in a close game in overtime. Here's a check out of what happened. The last second shot was Stephen Curry in the game-winning shot in overtime by 142 to 141. You see, same in real life was Andre Iguodala with a fadeaway shot in the 2K simulation. Seemingly, Stephen Curry hits the game-winning shot. 42 points for Stephen Curry. Andre Iguodala got 35 and Thompson got 22. And despite Jeremy Lamb almost got scored 50 points, even Russell Westbrook got 31 and 18, and Cephalosha got 27. What a good game here in Oklahoma. What a good game here in Oracle Arena. So now we're going to in downtown New York City. We got a two of the interconference matchup features Dwight Howard of the Houston Rockets take on Carmelo Anthony of the New York Knicks. And for this game, the Rockets gonna use the alternate jersey. Wow, the Knicks gonna use the white jersey. So that will do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here at the Madison Square Garden, New York City. And now, anyways, sending over to Kevin Harlan here at New York. Let's get started. Enjoy!
Welcome, basketball fans, to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce. The NBA season just getting rolling. It's going to be the Houston Rockets up against the New York Knicks. We'll catch up again at halftime. I'm not afraid.
Live from New York. 2K Sports proudly brings you Knicks basketball. We've got a chance now for our starting lineups from point guard to center. This game should be a good one. And one of the guys we'll be seeing in this one, James Harden.
Well, he's such a smart defender, guys. He just has a knack for stripping the ball from the offensive player just when he thinks he's got an easy shot going in.
And you know what else, Steve? Watching him run the pick and roll is like watching poetry in motion. I mean, this guy has that basic play down pat. He's unstoppable when he runs it.
Looking at the last game for the New York Knicks, it was a win against the Hawks in Atlanta. It was a close game. They needed overtime to finish him off.
That game nearly got away from them. A little bit fortunate to have survived at the end of regulation.
You know what? The overtime was a bit of a lifeline for him. Things really swung in their favor then, and they were very strong in that extra session. Tell you what, you got to give the Houston Rockets a lot of credit, guys. After losing their franchise players to injury and age back in '09, they managed to rebuild this team without tanking for lottery picks or going all the way to the bottom of the heap. Very impressive.
Howard using his post move to get the 2 points. Howard's got the scoreboard going with his first points of the night for the Rockets.
Get outside, get outside.
Back to Chandler.
Huge play.
Putting on a show for these people.
I cannot believe he pulled that one out in the course of an actual game. Are you kidding me?
Oh, man. Might as well flaunt it if you've got it, Clark.
Now here's Howard. In the game against Philadelphia. Very impressive. And so it looks like the Rockets will retain possession here. Here's Lynn. He passes to Harden. The basket good off the assist from Lynn. Harden's got himself going there, his first points of the game on the deep ball.
Well, the Rockets front office very influenced by advanced stats or sabermetrics, if you will. They revealed one thing that they think the league undervalues, and that's attack guards, ones who put pressure on the defense off the dribble. That's one more reason they pursued the slashing Jeremy Lin so strongly.
Back to Jeremy Lin, a great penetrator, very active. Gets to the lines. He's about as surprising a guy, Steve, as I can recall getting in the league and having putting a thumbprint on things.
Well, much more athletic than people give him credit for. Very explosive. He can get into the paint and really quick first step.
For the Houston Rockets, they come in off a good outing against the 76ers in Philadelphia.
Tell you what, the way they shot the ball in that game, Kevin, it looked like a shoot-around.
It sure did, and all the more impressive because they did it on the road. You're not supposed to be able to get that high in an opponent's building.
A nice shot by Howard.
He is just so good from that range, guys.
You know, never mind with the height advantage he had there.
Felton kicks to Smith. Stoudemire. Dishes it to Felton. Fires the three. That's good. Felton's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game.
4 straight makes out of the gate. That's a sweet start.
And some nice passing there by Houston. Good. 6 points for James Harden.
Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Their ball movement has been outstanding. They are piling up the assists.
Stoudemire backing him down. And here's Anthony from the arc. And again, New York with the triple.
How about the response? Retaliation. Impressive, huh, guys?
I'll say exactly that as well. Nice job to recover those 3 points right away.
Took him no time at all on that one. 9 points for James Harden.
What's interesting for me to watch with Mike Woodson as head coach in New York is the exciting floor spacing offense they started playing last season. In Atlanta, he's been known for a grinded out isolation play style, but has actually tweaked his approach a little bit. That's been impressive.
So he's one player who can get hot in a big hurry. It's like he has an on-off switch, and once it gets flipped on, he's tough to stop.
And don't forget now, a walking highlight reel every time he steps on the court. His flair for the dramatic makes him worth the price of admission all by himself.
Here's Smith following the basket by Dwight Howard. And it's Smith penetrating. An easy layup after coming off the plate. Smith's got 9. And back to Mike Woodson, not a flashy or high-maintenance type of personality. He keeps it on the level, and I think, Steve, the players appreciate that.
Players definitely like that. He's very quiet on the sidelines, but not afraid to get in your face when necessary. And I think that's a really good temperament for a coach to have. In general, I think he's a guy who is very well respected around the league and did an excellent job with New York as season goes.
And the Knicks decide to take their first time out here. And this is the first season matchup for them against this Rockets team.
0-2 in the season series last year, so this is an opponent that has given them some trouble.
Houston, a whole new 5 on the floor. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. World Peace dishes to Shumpert. There's the feed to Prigioni. Kicks it to Bargnani. Sinks the three-pointer. Bargnani's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Steve talking about the losses last year, and that's something that I'm sure will be probably in their minds as they enter this game.
Well, I think, Kevin, when you're a team as good as they are, you remember all the losses, especially the teams you know you're supposed to handle.
And it's the Knicks with the ball. After the three-pointer from Garcia. Here's Prigioni, defended by Beverly. And the basket by Prigioni.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively so far.
Yeah, I think that could really set things up well the rest of the game. Pound the ball inside and then let your perimeter players play off your bigs.
Here is Howard after the made shot from Prigioni. Hardaway's checked in for New York. And so it's Houston with it. 5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Harden kicks to Howard. Hardaway with the steal. Martin goes in. Hardaway defended by Beverly. World Peace, the pass to Shumpert. He feeds it to Prigioni. Out to Hardaway. Pass to Prigioni. Launches it and drops it.
Everybody on the floor is incredible stuff here in the early stages.
Tell you what, both teams playing downhill. Who's going to blink first?
And that concludes a back-and-forth high-scoring first quarter of play. New York ahead, up 2. And don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the second quarter in just a moment.
Tune in Tuesday, November 19th. Rajon Rondo and the Boston Celtics go up against the Houston Rockets. Live from Houston, it's the real deal.
And off we go. A close game now starting the second quarter. And a moment here to take a look at the scoring breakdown for New York.
And the points they're getting in the lane will really help them open up the floor.
They've been distributing the ball really well tonight, too. I mean, a decent number of assists so far for them.
So on the floor for Houston, Jeremy Lin is out there with Brooks. Then there's Garcia. Then there's Terrence Jones. And it's Ashik in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Such a wide open look. Houston's gone 6 of 7 from long range tonight. They've been on fire from way outside.
There were only 3 teams in the East that had a positive record against the Western Conference, and the Knicks were one of them. When you have talent like this team does, it doesn't really matter where your opponent is from because you're going to be able to compete.
Well, Clark, as you mentioned, the Knicks against the West, when you have the offensive capabilities from deep that they did, you know, Steve, you're never really out of the game.
Yeah,
you should know.
Well, they could just shoot their way back into games very easily. And that's what they did a lot of times against some of those teams in the West. But you have to play well against the West if you want to win your division. And the Knicks were able to do that last year.
A chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Well, gentlemen, it is now the 3rd team in as many years for Dwight Howard, but he feels as though he's found the right place with the Rockets. Howard said, quote, "We've got a lot of young players and the opportunity to grow. Financially, I'm leaving money on the table, leaving a storied franchise, but this is an opportunity for me to write my own story." And Kevin, he felt this team gave him the best opportunity to win a championship. And with a talented core, including James Harden, it's hard to argue.
Well, I tend to agree with them. Thanks, Doris. Back to Brooks. Jacks up a 3. Shot no good. And New York the other way now.
He's still a strong defender, but there was a time where you could put Meta World Peace on a player and just basically remove that player from the game. Still strong on the block and with good instincts, but his lateral movement starting to slip.
Shoots the 3. That's good. And it's Udrih with the assist that time.
Another lead change. How many of these are we going to have?
I don't know, Steve, but the momentum of this game has certainly swung like a pendulum.
Lin with it. Boy, that win against the 76ers. He's another guy who really showed up to play. Gets the bucket. As you said with Meta World Peace, still a solid defender, Clark, but he is no longer in the conversation as the best perimeter. Defender in the NBA.
Well, that's what happens when you add up years and lose a step. But boy, was he fantastic in his prime defensively. He's still able to get it done in short bursts. And although he can't take your Kevin Durant's or Kobe Bryant's out of their games now, he can still shut down a score for a quarter or so.
Felton with the ball. And it's Harden picking him up. Felton dishes to Stoudemire. That's blocked by Lin. Here's Harden on the wing. He's guarded by Udrih. Jones kicks to Lin. Chandler with the steal. And a fast break now for New York. Oh, and a jam by Anthony.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
Clark power on the dunk.
Guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
And that one's good. And 11 points for James Harden.
Broke out the finger roll, guys. That was kind of a stylish finish.
Felton against Harden. Felton kicks to Udrih. Takes the 3. And again, New York with the triple.
You know, even though he doesn't really have the long-range ability on a consistent level, he can knock down some open ones.
Well, it certainly had the makings of a great story. Harden versus his old team, the Rockets coming back with a big Game 5 win. If they could get Game 6, they'd be able to force that final 7th game and maybe pull off the upset, but it wasn't meant to be.
Omer, he's checked in for Terrence Jones.
Well, after knocking down 3 3-pointers last quarter, he's starting to lose the reins a little bit.
Deep 2 from Anthony, and the Knicks good for 2.
He presents a defender with a serious challenge, always.
Well, going back to the Rockets in the postseason, a lot of people had them picked to get steamrolled. Steve, they put up a solid fight and really turned some heads with how they played.
Well, the easy answer was because of the Westbrook injury. That's how Houston was able to really take Oklahoma City deep into that series. But I think there's more to it than that. The Rockets have tremendous offensive firepower. I think they're gaining momentum as a franchise. And heading into this year, I think they're one of the scariest teams in the conference.
The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening, Steve.
Oh, it's off the charts. It really is. And defensively, I mean, they have to start shutting down some of those lanes to the hoop.
Howard, good. Howard's got 10.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball into the paint.
Yeah, they've been the aggressors, Clark, and getting the ball inside into that lane area has been huge for them.
Felton the pass to Stoudemire. Smith outside. And the Knicks hit again from deep.
That's like a layup for him. This is wide open.
3 seconds separate the shot clock and game. What's up with 3? And another 3 for Houston.
Superb assist there. He played the role of the maestro on that one.
He lobs up the alley-oop pass. And Stoudemire slams it in.
You can see the eye contact there, David.
No doubt, Clark. A pair of teammates with a terrific feel for each other out on the floor.
And what a play to make in a close game, a potential momentum builder.
Here's Harden on the wing. For 3, count the bucket. Harden's got 5 points now this quarter. Here's Felton. And no good trying to get that one. And a tight game here as we end the first half. Knicks lead by 1. And we'll be back right after halftime for the start of the third quarter. We'll see you in a bit.
And now, brought to you by Sprint. It's been a tight matchup in New York as we bring you our halftime breakdown. The Knicks have been plugging away. It's been a tough start for them this season, looking to get back on the winning track. J.R. Smith is having a huge impact. How's that for a shooting percentage? 100. Yes, 100% from the court. Not too bad. And it's also been a strong start for the Rockets. The three-point shooting, ridiculous. They're knocking down everything. James Harden absolutely lights out. He's got 14 points and is up to his usual tricks, dropping a lot of dimes all over the court. And let's go around the NBA, checking out our other game. For the Warriors, a tight battle against Oklahoma City. Second half of play, still anybody's game. And we'll be heading back to the court for the rest of our coverage as we go to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And a breathtaking view of the iconic skyscrapers near Times Square as we welcome you back. An exceptional performance so far from James Harden.
I know we've said this many times before, but I'll say it again. He had a great first half, just an explosive offensive display there.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about what a great second half he had. He can usually keep it going for all 4 quarters.
Anthony, Stoudemire, and Chandler, their front line. The guards, Ray Felton and J.R. Smith. So that's who's on the floor for the Knicks. And here is Howard. Back to Harden. And that comes off the assist by Dwight Howard. Howard's got 3 assists tonight.
Well, James Harden, clearly one of the most potent offensive threats in the game. Can do it all. Pass, shoot with range, get to the rim. He led the league in free throw attempts last season with over 10 a game.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Gentlemen, for the Houston Rockets, a remarkable rebuild process since 2009. They remained around a 500 team, trading for draft picks and young prospects, preserving cap space, and acquiring the elite talents of James Harden and Dwight Howard. They've become, once again, a contender in the West. Kevin, this is a young team poised to make some real noise.
The story of the offseason, no question. Thank you, Doris. For 3, Smith, and that is good. Smith's got 17. And Clark, you mentioned Harden. Great drawing foul. He stays low. He holds the ball low. And when he brings it up, if the defender reaches, he just guides his arms up under theirs to draw the contact. It's a very clever move.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of players over the years do it. Kevin Durant has done it. Tim Duncan before that. Going way back, Sam Perkins used to make that move. It's really a tricky play, and it's tough to guard, but when you perfect it offensively, it's really a weapon.
Looking at who's out there now for the Knicks. Margnani comes in for Amari Stoudemire. And it's Amon Shumpert in for Carmelo Anthony.
Tyson Chandler, first-time All-Star last season. His 12th season in the league. This is a guy that came right out of high school. It was a long time coming for him, but certainly that All-Star berth well-deserved.
And for Tyson Chandler, it's been a long road over the last few seasons. Steve, he's playing undoubtedly the best basketball of his career.
Yeah, key contributor on Team USA, an NBA champion with the Mavericks in 2011, and now an NBA All-Star. It's the defense, it's the understanding of his teammates and the game plan. Just a very, very smart player and a hard worker as well.
Margnani dishes to Carmelo. Trying to find Chandler. He's got it.
The prettiest player in basketball to me. Execute.
Everybody loves the alley-oop.
Well, unless you're the team getting dunked on, of course.
Harden kicks to Lynn. Howard. He's guarded by Chandler. Backing down is Howard. A strong finish under heavy pressure all over. Howard's got 4 this quarter.
I'll tell you what, he takes a lot of punishment inside. When Howard gets the ball in deep, defenses are looking to foul him hard because of his difficulties at the free throw line.
And he's a devastating finisher when you let him power it up to throw it down. He's a former dunk contest champ, Steve, so you give him a chance to do that, he'll make you part of his highlight reel. A lot of high hopes of the Knicks in last year's playoffs. They started off so hot, but then let the series against Boston drag on, and eventually went to 7 games, and they fell to the Pacers in the second round after that.
Houston making some changes. Kenyon Martin, he's checked in for Chandler. And it's World Peace in for Carmelo Anthony. Harden gets a screen from Howard. Harden with it. And it's Martin picking him up. Here's Howard, and he uses the glass on the layup. Howard's got 16. And the Boston series did drag on him, you could tell. You wonder if they were a bit fatigued going into that Pacers series. Steve, Indiana just outplayed him, outworked him, and in every way in the second round.
Yeah, I think it was a factor, Kevin, and really the Knicks have only themselves to blame. They had Boston down 3-1 and a home game to close it out, but they couldn't get it done. And there's no doubt that affected them against Indiana in the next series.
And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for 1.
and they're beginning to fall apart a little bit defensively, especially inside.
Well, that's 4 straight buckets now at the rim.
Looking at who's out there now for the Knicks. Tyson Chandler is checked in for Bargnani. Anthony comes in for Kenyon Martin. That's Felton in for Pablo Prigioni. Inside, here's Jones. Takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the way up. Jones has got his first points of the game. Knicks trailed by 11. Felton kicks to Anthony. Chandler with a screen for Anthony. Off the screen, and he knocks down the jumper. Anthony's got 9.
Very effective screen to set up the jumper. That was the key to that play.
Backing down is Howard. From down low, Chandler with the steal. And jumper penetrating, and the rejection by Harden. On the wing, Brooks. Banked in off the glass. He's got 8.
That's the 10th straight point they've given up in the paint. I guess the good news is they've taken away the outside shot.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter how good their perimeter defense is if they're going to allow inside looks as easy as that.
Here's Chandler, the stupendous finish in traffic. Chandler's got his 3rd basket of the night.
You can see that they're not as aggressive from the three-point arc. They had far more attempts in the first half.
And Howard, here we go. That's good. And the Rockets lead by 11.
Look at the combination of size and touch. That's why he's a great finisher down low.
3 seconds left, and you know that's going to be goal time. So that's a free basket right there.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
Here's Lynn. The shot is off. Shots continuing to fall as we conclude the 3rd quarter. Both teams putting up points. Houston on top. They're up by 9. And time to step aside quickly, but we'll be back in no time with the start of the 4th quarter.
This Saturday, November 16th, Paul George and the Indiana Pacers take on Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls. A contest in the Central Division. Do not miss it.
Well, welcome back as we get set to start the 4th. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Rockets.
Guys, the passing we've seen from them has been tremendous. Very unselfish.
And they continue to knock down the long-range three-point shot as well.
So on the floor for Houston, they've got Greg Smith. Williams out there with Montezumas. Then it's Patrick Beverly. And it's Lynn in at the shooting guard.
He's doing his best to carry him, fellas, but he can only do so much. Things would be different for them if he was getting a little more help.
And another three-pointer to their second half total.
Yeah, they caught that long-range bug at halftime, and it's been bombs away ever since.
Woodrick, the pass to Smith. Pulls from the top of the key, and the Knicks getting another bucket right there.
You know, tired legs can affect you at the defensive end, and I think that's what's happening right here.
I agree, because as much offense as we saw early, we're seeing even more of it here late.
Lynn, he's covered by Felton. Lynn kicks to Beverly. The basket good off the assist from Lynn. Lynn's got 6 assists in the game.
What a floor leader he's been at the offensive end.
You know, he's done a terrific job of moving the ball around, sharing it, dispersing it, and running the show.
New York calls timeout. And during this timeout, I'm sure they'll be hydrating themselves with Gatorade. All the effort out there on the floor, and these timeouts can be such a huge factor in getting a short rest and recharging the battery. And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Hey guys, well Mike Woodson had some advice for the team over that last break. He told them that they simply have to step up, saying if we don't make a move now, it's going to be too late. Give them everything you've got. Kevin?
4th quarter now. We're about a minute and a half in. Lynn against Felton. And again, New York with the triple.
He's been kind of passive to that. You know, maybe that one will get him going. I think for them to be successful, he needs to be the one to do the bulk of the scoring.
Houston moving the ball around. And that one's good. Beverly.
Got to make a defensive adjustment here because he's just destroying them from three-point range.
Well, even when they've closed out on him, Steve, he's knocking them down.
Felton dishes to Carmelo. And he's going up for the alley-oop. And Chandler throws it down.
And how sweet a play was that?
As sweet as it gets. An exquisite pass to set up Clark that beautiful alley-oop dunk.
It was nice. Just a gorgeous assist.
Smith. Beautiful dish, and the layup goes down.
You know what? That's what you like to see. A perfect pass leading him right into the shot. Didn't even have to break stride.
Felton kicks to Anthony. And that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. And that's 13 points for Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, he's explosive, Kevin. I mean, a lot of time, all it takes is a basket or two to really get his motor running. And suddenly, he becomes almost impossible to handle.
And the consistency of his jump shot is another thing we should say about him. I mean, it doesn't matter how many defenders are flying at him. His stroke is never changing.
Felton against Land. Anthony drives in. Good on the shot.
Well, you know, he has shot the ball well, but it has not been contagious. When his teammates, they haven't had the same groove, and that's why we're looking at this result so far. Strong move there to go in for the dunk.
That's a smart foul there to prevent him from the finish.
First one falls for him. That's also good, so he hits both free throws.
Steady work at the free throw line. Just what we're used to seeing out of him.
Lynn against Felton. Here's the floater. That's good. Felton's got 5 points now this quarter. Houston leading by 6. It's Orton with the drive. Gets to the rim for 2 with the D all over him.
How about that? Going up strong. I mean, he doesn't care how much height he's giving up. It's attitude with him.
Omerash, he's checked in for the Rockets. There's a minute 47 left in the fourth quarter. Felton against Land. There's the triple. And again, New York with the triple.
His stroke has been dead on. Inside, outside, wherever. The shot's just falling for him.
He dishes it to Howard. Chandler with the steal. Fourth quarter of play, and over 3.5 minutes have gone by. Back to Anthony. Outside, Felton. A 3-ball. It's blocked, and it's out of bounds. The Knicks able to retain possession here. 1:15 left in the fourth quarter. 4 on the shot clock. It's Anthony with the drive. Gets it to go.
4 of their last 5 makes came off of a high-quality shot inside.
Yeah, that's textbook basketball. Just having their way down low.
In a crucial spot, he was always so solid at the line. He rarely wastes those opportunities.
I don't know who was supposed to be on him there, but clearly a mistake by the defense.
Felton the pass to Carmelo. Pulls up on the wing. Good! And he has cut them to within 2 points.
What a quarter for him at the offensive end. He's ignored the scoreboard and continued to go out there and do his thing.
Low block shot. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Jets are now for a 3-point play.
Boy, it's a scary sight when Howard starts lighting it up like this.
Great and one play right there. Tacks another point onto the lead. And I'll tell you what, guys, he's really showing us some killer instinct.
Stolen by Jeremy Lin. And it's Houston on the break. Lin's running. And slammed in by Howard.
And they're getting that lead way up there now. It should be a stroll to the final whistle from here.
Yeah, this late in the game, it'd be almost impossible for them to blow a lead like this.
Sinks it. And now they trail by just 4.
The easiest way to do it sometimes is with the bounce back.
So they foul intentionally. Good on the first, and that puts them up by 5. And They cannot convert on the second. That misses. New York's gone to three-point range for 12 of their points in the final quarter on 4 of 5 shooting. Money! And he has brought them to within 2 points.
He's such a clutch shooter, Kevin. He just lives for the big shot.
And so they choose to intentionally foul. This free throw is good, and that makes it a 3-point lead. And he is unable to get the second one. Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over. They're trailing by 3. 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. How's your thoughts?
Well, down 3, you don't necessarily have to go for the 3. You could go for the quick bucket and then the foul.
I'm not sure. I mean, in this situation, I think they should look for the 3, Steve. I mean, try to tie this thing up. You got 3-point shooters. Let it fly.
They're going to prolong the game here with an intentional foul.
Well, you do what you have to do to extend this game and try to get the ball back.
In this situation, clock management crucial.
And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 3-point game.
That last free throw was critical. Their only choice now is to go for the 3 to tie.
You know, his performance has been so important with this team. He's as dependable as ever, guys. Timeout call for Rockets.
The score knotted at 105. 6 seconds left to play in the final quarter. 6 seconds left in the game. And here's Harden for 3. Oh, he knocks it in a beautiful buzzer beater.
Just in time.
A lightning bolt to win it at the buzzer.
That is incredible. A sensational finish to a sensational game.
So it's a narrow victory for the Rockets, pulling it out for the W. It was tight, but they managed to come up with the win.
You know, nobody wants to lose a close game, Kevin. It's much better to win those tight ones.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Curry, Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, James Harden.
So now, as you can see, Rockets are now 5 in a row. What a great game. Thanks to James Harden does it again. The beard shows them and hit the winner for the Rockets. Nikola Vucevic is now healed. Samuel Gallenberg is hurt for back spans 1 to 2 weeks. JJ Barea is now healed. So, another good game, another game-winning shot. That's 4 in a row in the night of the prime time. J.R. Smith got 26 points. Carmelo Anthony got 23. Felton's got 50 and 10. And for the Rockets, we got James Harden got 34 and 10. Dwight Howard got 25. And Patrick Beverley got 12. And now, what a good game now. Is an interesting finish here in Houston, here in New York. Now we're on the November 15th. We got the ESPN Friday doubleheader. We're off to Pepsi Center and we're off to Staples Center as because the Pistons and Kings will be flexed out on ESPN Friday just like in real life where they play. And now we're flex out on 2K14 ESPN Friday. So, we're off the first game, our main first matchup features Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio of the Minnesota Timberwolves take on JaVale McGee and Ty Lawson of the Denver Nuggets. So, we're going to the next matchup here. We got the Bucks, Pacers, Bulls, Raptors, Nets, Suns, Spurs, Jazz, Sixers, Hawks, Blazers, Celtics, Bobcats, Cavaliers, Mavericks, Heat, Grizzlies, Lakers, and Pistons, Kings. So what a good game for now. Let's check out the conference names. The Rockets retains the first place are 9-1, while the Spurs are 8-1, and the Heat remains the last undefeated. Whew. What a good game now as the New York City ends the game-winning shot. Another game-winning shot for Houston is James Harden does it again. J.R. Smith got 26, Carmelo Anthony got 23, Raymond Felton got 15 and 10, Harden got 34, Howard got 25. So now time for semifinals now. Another finish here in Madison Square Garden as another game-winning shot 4 in a row and another game winner. So that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin going the first matchup for the game. Heads to Pepsi Center. It's gonna be Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio of the Minnesota Timberwolves take on JaVale McGee and Ty Lawson of the Denver Nuggets, and then followed by second game at the hand or up to Staples Center in LA features Marc Gasol, Mike Conley of the Memphis Grizzlies take on Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's gonna be a good matchup. So that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. So day 4 wraps up as the Pacers and Thunder are up 2 games to none. And LeBron James, Luka Doncic, the Lakers are bounced back and tied the series at 1. So that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. We will see you tomorrow for the doubleheader for you. Head to Pepsi Center and Staples Center. The first game at the hand is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets, and the second game is the Memphis Grizzlies take on the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Andre Kenshin. Say so from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Another buzzer beater finish for the Houston Rockets as the Beard Harden does it again. I'm Andre Kenshin. Say so from Madison Square Garden in New York City. We'll see you tomorrow here at Pepsi Center and Staples Center for the Timberwolves and the Lakers and the Grizzlies and their Lakers. Sign up and peace out. Good night, and reminder we're off tomorrow. The doubleheader for you heads to Pepsi Center and the Staples Center with features the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Sign up and peace out. Good night.